Hey there, parents, and welcome back to the Parent Guide, helping your teen overcome pornography addiction. I am your host, Matt Bulkley, a psychotherapist who spent years working with teens and families navigating the tough stuff like pornography addiction. And today, we are diving deep into something that's at the heart of why your teen might be turning to pornography, and that is serotonin, the brain's natural chill pill. If you've ever wondered why your teen seems stuck in a cycle of using porn to cope with stress, anxiety, or those big teenage emotions, then this episode is for you. We're going to break down the science of serotonin, how porn hijacks your teen's brain, and most importantly, 5 practical, heartfelt steps that you as a parent can take to help them break free and build healthier ways to feel good. Plus, share a story from my practice that I think will hit home for a lot of you. So stick around, settle in, and let's get started with some hope, some science, and a whole lot of support. Remember, you're not alone in this, and I am so glad that you're here today. Okay, so let's start with the basics. What is serotonin? Why does it matter so much for your teen? Picture serotonin as your brain's vibe manager. It's a neurotransmitter, a chemical messenger that keeps your mood steady, helps you manage stress, and even plays a big role in getting a good night's sleep. For teens whose brains are still developing until their mid-20s is what research shows, serotonin is like the glue that holds their emotional world together. It's what helps them to stay calm when they're juggling school drama, friend conflicts, family issues, or just the chaos of navigating a teen world. When serotonin levels are balanced, your teen feels good. Like when they nail a presentation at school, they have a good laugh with their best friend, or they're just vibing out to their favorite playlist on Spotify. But when serotonin's low, things can feel heavy. Research shows, like 2021 study from the Journal of Behavioral Addictions, study links low serotonin to things like depression, anxiety, and that overwhelming I can't deal vibe that so many teens experience. Now, here's where porn comes in, and it's sneaky. That same 2021 study found that watching pornography gives your teen's brain a quick hit of serotonin, along with other feel-good chemicals, dopamine, oxytocin, which we've covered in past podcast episodes. It's like a shortcut to feeling chill, almost like popping a happiness pill. And for a teen who's stressed out, maybe they failed a test, they got ghosted by a friend, they saw something on social media that made them feel less than, that quick serotonin boost can feel like a lifeline. It's like, why deal with my problems when I can watch this and feel better right now? But here's the catch, and it's a big one. That serotonin spike from porn, well, it's artificial. It does not last. It's like borrowing happiness from tomorrow. You get the high now, but you're paying it back with interest later. Let's break down how this happens and why it is such a big deal for your teen. So imagine your teen is having a rough day. Maybe they're stressed out about college applications, or they're feeling lonely because their friend group maybe been acting distant. Here's the thing: they have discovered porn is right there, just one click away on their phone or their laptop, and when they watch it, their brain lights up with serotonin, dopamine, and oxytocin, creating this mini euphoria party in their head. And that 2021 study, that research study that I mentioned, it says that this effect can mimic some antidepressants. At least temporarily it can. For a teen who's struggling, that's incredibly tempting. It's like a digital escape hatch from whatever is weighing them down in the moment. But here's where it gets messy. Another research study in 2017, a study in Psychiatry Research, found that overusing porn can actually lower your teen's baseline serotonin levels over time. So what that means, their brain gets used to these big artificial serotonin spikes, and then it starts to struggle to produce or respond to serotonin naturally. Think of it like this: it's like it's like overloading a circuit. Eventually, the systems burn out. This can lead to mood swings, irritability, and even symptoms of depression or anxiety when they're not watching pornography. And let me share a quick story from my practice. And don't worry, I've changed the details as I always do, protect privacy. Worked with this 16-year-old, we'll call him Jake, a great kid, super smart, lots of friends, athletic, but he was struggling with anxiety and feeling disconnected from his friends. Started using porn to unwind after stressful days at school. At first, it felt like a relief, but over time, he began to talk about that it made him feel numb when he wasn't online or couldn't access pornography. Things that he used to love, like playing soccer, gaming with friends, just didn't hit the same anymore. And that's a classic sign of what is referred to as anhedonia, which is that inability to feel pleasure from normal activities. And here's the thing, it's directly tied to how pornography messes with serotonin and other chemicals in the brain. So back to some of the research, a 2020 study in Addictive Behaviors backs this whole phenomena up. Found that teens who rely on pornography to regulate their mood start skipping out on the things that naturally boost serotonin, things like exercise, hanging out with friends, or even just laughing at silly TikTok videos. Instead, they're outsourcing their chill pill to a screen. And it's not self-care, it's self-medicating, and it's keeping them from learning real coping skills. So let's talk about the vicious cycle, because this is where it really clicks. Here's how the cycle works. Your teen feels stressed, anxious, discouraged, or down. They turn to pornography for that quick serotonin hit, and they feel better, or at least for a little while, maybe an hour, maybe less. But their brain's serotonin system gets out of balance. It gets out of whack. Research from a 2022 article in Neuroscience and Biobehavioral Reviews explains that chronic pornography use messes with the interplay between serotonin and dopamine, making it harder for your teen to feel calm or happy without resorting to pornography use. So they might start feeling flat or bored or even numb when they're not online and they're not able to access pornography, like nothing else is fun anymore. Nothing else brings satisfaction. Nothing else is fulfilling. And it doesn't stop there. Serotonin also helps to regulate stress and sleep. And when pornography throws that off, your teen will likely feel more stressed and even have trouble falling asleep, because serotonin is a key player in producing melatonin, the sleep hormone. In fact, along those lines, a 2020 study in the Psychoneuroendocrinology Journal linked this to a higher risk of mood disorders like depression and anxiety. So the more teens use pornography to cope, the worse their stress and mood become, and the more they feel like they need pornography to feel okay. This is a trap. This is a neurological trap. And it's not their fault. Their brain is just doing what it's wired to do, and that is to chase that quick fix, the thing that gives them that temporary reprieve or escape from those unwanted negative emotional states. But here's the good news, parents. Understanding this cycle is the first step to breaking it. Pornography might be hijacking your teen's chill pill, but you can help them get it back, and naturally. So before we get into practical steps, let me just pause for a second and if you're listening and if this is hitting home, and maybe if you are seeing some of these signs in your teen, I do want you to know that you're not alone. And I recognize this is tough, but I want to assure you that this is fixable. And this is something that I have seen play out many times over the years as a clinician. So let's talk about how you can support your teen and help them to rebuild those healthy coping skills so that their emotional development doesn't continue to be stagnated because of their use of pornography. And that gets us into the heart of this episode, which is, what can you do to help your teen? So first, want to normalize this struggle. If your teen has been turning to pornography, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're bad, that they're destined for lifelong addiction, or that you are failing as a parent. Remember, their brain is wired to seek out those quick fixes. And more especially with that adolescent developing brain that is addicted to pornography, that their willpower has become damaged and incapacitated, and it's much more difficult for them to withstand that urge. And that's biology. It's not necessarily a character flaw. And your job as a parent in this context is to guide them toward healthier ways to boost their serotonin and to manage stress. So I want to share 5 practical steps backed by science and research and a whole lot of heart to help you as a parent do just that. So here we go. Step 1, start the conversation without judgment. This one's huge, and we've talked about this in past podcast episodes. You have got to talk to your teen about pornography. But remember, it's all about how you approach it. So don't come in hot with accusations or lectures or punishments. That'll just make them shut down and probably go underground with this and become more secretive. Try something like, "Hey, I've noticed that you've been stressed lately. Can we talk about what has been helping you cope?" This opens the door without making them feel attacked. And if they clam up, they don't want to talk, don't push. Just say, "Look, I'm here. I'm here when you're ready." And then try again later. The goal here is to build trust. It's not to catch them. And let me give you an example. I worked with a mom that we'll call Sarah, who found a history of ongoing pornography use on her 15-year-old son's phone. And her first instinct was to ground him, take the phone away, cramp down on his technology use. But instead, she was able to get her head together and was able to say, "Look, I know being a teen is tough. And sometimes all of us look for better ways to feel better. Can we talk about what's going on?" And here's the thing, that small shift from that tendency to move towards punishment, consequence, made her son feel safe enough that within a day or two, he was able to open up and acknowledge his behavior, what was going, and they were able to get started on some treatment. They started to work together to find better ways for him to cope and handle stress in his life. Step 2, encourage natural serotonin boosters. Help your teen to find activities that naturally increase serotonin. And I'm clearly biased to this, but exercise is a superstar here. Even a 30-minute walk in the sunlight can work wonders, but encourage them to try sports, running, biking, hitting the gym, dance, or even just blasting their favorite music and jumping around and dancing around. Anything that can trigger the natural endorphins in the brain. Other ideas that I've seen work include helping them to find creative hobbies like drawing or making music with technology, making videos, learning to journal, cooking together. All of these activities stimulate serotonin production without reliance on a screen and turning to pornography. For example, try making it a family thing. Maybe say, "Hey, let's go for a hike this weekend," or "Do you want to bake those cookies that I know that you love?" Small shared moments like these can help your teen rediscover joy and satisfaction in the real world. Step 3, build those real world connections. Serotonin thrives on social bonds. So encourage your teen to spend time with friends or family. Help them to plan a game night or a low-key hangout at your house. Be open. Let them bring friends to the house. Encourage them to bring friends to the house. Try to avoid them being isolated. And if they're feeling isolated, help them. Help them to find a club, a team, an activity where they can connect with other people. Feeling supported by real people can help reduce the urge to turn to pornography for comfort. So I'll never forget a teen who I worked with here recently who, of all things, joined a local game club. And this, I'm talking about a board game club, after feeling disconnected for a period of time. And he told me, I I didn't realize how much I missed just hanging out and laughing with real people. And he had been spending a lot of time alone, isolated online, only connecting with people in the virtual world. So those connections are like serotonin gold. Step 4, set healthy boundaries around technology. Pornography's accessibility, it is a big part of the problem. It's always just one click away. So work with your team to create screen time limits, especially at night. And let's emphasize that since, as we talked about, pornography can mess with their sleep by disrupting serotonin's role in melatonin production. Try tools like app blockers or keeping devices out of bedrooms and frame it as a team effort, something to the effect of let's figure out a plan that helps you to feel your best. One tip, make it a family rule, not just your teen's rule, but maybe everyone in the household puts their phones in a basket in the evenings or during dinner, or everyone docks their electronics in a charging station in the kitchen after 9 o'clock. And that way, it feels less like a punishment and more like a shared goal. And here's the thing, like so many teens tell me that their most vulnerable period of time for slipping up with pornography is late at night. So being able to separate them from being alone with their electronics in their bedroom is really critical in helping them to break free. And finally, step 5, consider professional support. If your teen's struggling to break the cycle, a therapist, especially one trained in cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, is what it's called, can be a game changer. Therapy can help uncover the emotional triggers driving their pornography use and teach them how to manage stress without quick fixes. And check out resources like the Recovery Toolbox for Teens, which I've talked about in previous episodes. And the Recovery Toolbox provides a structured approach with either parent-led intervention that you can do at home or working with a therapist. So if you are in Utah, we have several uh, several therapists here at Therapy Associates that specialize in teen pornography addiction treatment. If you're in other place around the country, find a therapist that is comfortable working with teens and see if they would be willing to use the Recovery Toolbox for Teens as part of their therapy. And make sure that they're open and willing to involve you as parents in that treatment process. So the Recovery Toolbox for Teens, you can get it the website, therapyassociates.net. It's in the bookstore. And it's the blue toolbox, not the brown one. The brown one is the adult version. Make sure that you get the blue Recovery Toolbox. And it includes Breaking Free Workbook, the Breaking Free Parent Guide, and the 101 Tips for Quitting Porn. And in situations where safety and risk issues exist, if there's been sexual acting out, if there's been reckless, dangerous online behaviors, including attempts to communicate with strangers or chatting with adults about sexual issues, or for pervasive mental health issues, including depression or anxiety or self-harm or suicidality, or if there's been a pattern of past treatment failures, or if your teen has just simply reached the point where they're no longer willing to allow themselves to have any influence from you as a parent, then, I mean, here's the thing. Star Guides is probably the level of intensiveness and immediacy that is needed to disrupt those problems. So, and you can find out more about Star Guides, the Star Guides website at starguides.net. Parents, remember, treatment it's not necessarily a magic wand, but it does put in place a solid foundation for recovery. Remember, breaking the porn serotonin cycle takes time, and usually not weeks, but oftentimes months and many months, because their brain needs to recalibrate. So be patient, celebrate small wins, and remind your teen that you are in their corner. And that support really does mean everything to them. They need to see you as their ally in this battle. So let's zoom out for the big picture here. Serotonin is your teen's natural chill pill, but pornography is like a fake shortcut that backfires over time. And by helping them find healthier ways to feel good, like exercise, real world connections, creative outlets, you are giving them the tools to manage stress and emotions for life. And that's what parenting is all about. It's guiding them toward becoming the best version of themselves, one step at a time. Parents, before we wrap up, I want you to know I would love to hear from you. So if you're listening and you have a question about your teen or maybe tips, strategies that have worked for you, reach out to me. Message me in the comments or on the therapyassociates.net website or starguys.net website. And I would love to hear from you. We're building a community of parents who are in this together, and your story could help someone else, another parent. One last thing, if you are looking for more resources, get on that therapyassociates.net website. We have the parent library, which is under the blog link. And there you'll find more than 200 articles, strategies, ideas, specifically for supporting parents and helping their teens to overcome pornography addiction. Parents, thanks for tuning in. You're doing the hard work, the important work, and I'm cheering you on. And if this episode helped you to understand your teen struggle a bit better, please do share it with another parent who might need it. And don't forget to subscribe to this podcast, The Parent Guide, helping your teen overcome pornography addiction on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you are listening. And we'll be back. We'll be back for future podcast episodes with more science-backed advice and support. And until then, keep showing up for your teen, and I know that you have got this.